Hello, where are we?
I'm I'm
I know
here.
you're waiting patiently. You're waiting patiently. Now it's telling me Zoom and Live are connecting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll know this for next time to make sure we start a little bit ahead of time to make all the connections to get going. Um, so now I still don't see you. What is happening here?
Maybe if you go down to I'm trying to think where it shows participants. Maybe you need to see the gallery. Not 100% sure.
Okay, wait a second. I had to okay my camera. Camera permission denied. Ugh, I don't know why.
Oh, you have to give permission to Facebook.
Yeah.
To
Oh, there you are. Okay. Ah, we made it.
for
Yay.
you.
All right. Well, for anybody who's hanging in the air waiting for us to get connected, I am Marcia Grace, your Calm Creativity Connector. And I am so excited because today, Happy New Year, by the way, today is the first time we're doing this particular Calm in the Center of the Storm, which I've been doing now since March on Fridays. But it's the first time I'm doing this on this platform using my laptop instead of my phone. And I'm so thrilled because my very first guest for this new platform is Ty Vicari, who is, oh, just, I don't know how many, there's so many wonderful things to say about Ty. She is in her car because she's such a busy lady. So she's going to share with us some wonderful ideas about de-stressing. And when we spoke yesterday about what you were going to talk about a little bit, you said that you were going to mention how you have levels of de-stressing. So I really want to hear about that. And so I guess we're ready to go. So please, with all, I want you to share. First of all, tell us a little bit about all the things that you do. Would you do that for me?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. And then we can get into a little bit about how you de-stress because before, all right, I'm going to back up a little bit because I do want to say this. I want to say that as business women and people who wear many hats, right? We're flipping those hats like crazy all day long. And we have multiple things that we need to do in order to be successful in our lives, right? To get things done. And so those is part of the things I also want you to talk about a little bit. But I also want to say that, a lot of people think that being in business means that you're not spiritual or you can't be spiritual. And I always think of you as a very spiritual person. I remember when you invited me to your book club and I came and shared my book and that was and which is a very spiritual book. So I said, wow, they're reading spiritual stuff here. Okay. So so talk a little bit about how you combine your spirituality and your business acuity. All right, take it away. Go ahead. I gave you a lot to chew on there.
Well, first off, I want to start by saying thank you for having me on your show, Marcia Grace, and happy, healthy New Year to you. And to everybody out there in the world. I hope that your New Year is blessed and safe and healthy. Those are, to me, the most important things. So a little bit about me. Yes, I do wear multiple hats, but I think that in this day and age, a lot of people do. And I think we've always worn multiple hats, except that now it's more of an awareness of it. If you think about, the traditional mom, she had to be mom, psychiatrist, school teacher, and all these other things. And, but it wasn't talked about at one point. And now we're just talking about what we do. So, we've always worn the multiple hats as women. And I think there are men that do. I was raised by my father only. So he wore the hat of a father and a mother. So, and a worker and all those other things. And that's where my spirituality really comes from. It might be a shocker to most people, but my father actually was an atheist. And so he didn't believe in God, but he believed in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So he raised us in that way, and being one with, what is around us, and that's where our spirituality comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that I myself am an atheist. I was raised that way, but I found, regular religion at one point, and I'll say it that way. I studied all different types of religion because I was so curious. When you're told that there isn't anything, you become curious because why is everyone else doing it? Why are we so different? We're going against what everything stands for in the world. So I did take a great many years of studying different types of religions, and I had at one point practiced Catholicism and actually converted to Catholicism because I felt that resonated most with how I felt. But I then evolved out of that because when I'm one of those people that once you start reading up on things and then you start seeing how everyone's acting and you're like, wait a minute, you're not following your own rules. I took all of that and I said to myself, you know what? I believe in a higher power. I really do. To define it, is very hard because for me, at least, it's very hard to define who is that higher being. But I think that we all have spiritual guides. I am super spiritual when it comes to this universe and its whole. I actually go out when it's a full moon, and I like to absorb the rays of the moon. I enjoy the rays of the sun as well. Those are things that I enjoy doing. I love the smell of rain. And to me, the earth is, and the planet itself is such a powerful entity. And I see us people as visitors upon it, kind of like sometimes we're pests, because we destroy, but then there's other times where it's like we're one with, our earth. And I really feel that, as people, that we need to, show our love not only to each other, but also to our surroundings, to our planet and everything. How does it work in my job or in my business? I always feel that you need to be good to people, no matter what. You don't know what's going on beyond the closed doors of their life. We show one face, and that's the face that we show to the public. And some of us put on a better face than others. Some of us, you look at them and you're like, there's nothing wrong with that person. That person is $1 million. That person is just like full of energy and this and that. And yet you don't know what's really going on. That's the face that they're showing you.
That's right.
Then you have those individuals out there that they're so grim and this and that. And my heart really cries out to those individuals because I feel that those are the ones that we need to take the time and pay attention to. A smile can change a person's world.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad you said that because I know a lot of people, when they see someone who's grumpy, so to speak, they kind of want to run on the other side of the street. And what I've learned is that grumpy person is suffering, is in pain. That's why they're grumpy. Otherwise, they'd be happy like I am. So and you're right. Absolutely. I go out of my way to get a smile on that face, to take that grumpiness away. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Sometimes it's as simple as just smiling at them. That, they see it, or making eye contact. I think a lot of us don't look at each other.
Yes.
Like, see each other, but we don't look at each other. And those are two different things. I can see a person walking in the street and not, pay attention to them, but to actually make eye contact, they say, what, the eyes are the windows to the soul. I truly believe that. When you're talking to someone, I was always taught that when I speak to someone, I have to look in their eyes, because you're showing them the respect of attention, but you're also really communicating, you're connecting. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to mention, if you're noticing that I have two different color eyes, I did not hit poke my eye with my comb this morning while I was doing my hair. I get an injection. Oh, it's this one. I get an injection in my eye so that I can preserve my vision. So what happened was the doctor hit a blood vessel, And so the eye is filled with blood for the time being, but it's starting to clear up a little bit, I hope. But I know I look weird. So I just wanted to tell you why that was. All right. So I know we could talk about spirituality all day, and I'm with you, everything that you said, right on. But I want to hear, because we have a lot of business people who are, listening and will listen to this broadcast. So talk about how tell us about what you do, so for those who don't know, and a little bit about how you do business with people. I mean, we're getting a sense of that, certainly, but go ahead. Let's hear about business.
So basically, I'm in media, and I put it that way so that it's a broader spectrum than the average person. I deal a lot with social media. I deal a lot with doing videos. My upcoming thing that I'm doing now will be, because I love to network and interview people like you do. And so now what I'm going to be doing for the year 2020 is I'm having a show and I'm co-hosting it.
2021.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, I'm so stuck in my So
I know we haven't written it down yet the first time, right?
That's exactly what it is. I think I'm gonna go home and start writing 2021. Get it right, Todd. Everybody's like, we hate 2020.
Yeah, goodbye, goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, good riddance. So what was I saying? Oh, so the show that I'm doing is it's called Ty and Gina's Hotspot, and so basically that is my business where I interview people. I used to run a networking group I'll call it a physical networking group because we used to physically meet with each other.
Yes, but we did at Mario's, right?
Yeah, Mario's and a few other places. But the thing is that I was super paranoid this year. I know that networking groups started up again and everything, but I personally stood with my bubble, only because of COVID. And I really, I had some relatives and friends who passed away from it. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I personally was like, you know what, I'm not taking those chances, right. Especially my crowd. My crowd were huggers and kissers and everything. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. Right.
So, with the business aspect of it, I always feel that you have to be personal, and that's the difference with me. I get to know people really well. I'm not saying stalkerish, but I'll literally go on all their media that I could possibly find and learn as much as possible about them. The clients that I have had, they will tell you that I sound just like them if I'm posting as them, and people don't know the difference because I literally pay attention.
So wait a minute. So now, when you said you sound just like them, so in other words, you're doing media for other people. That's part of your business. What's the name of your business?
So it's NMS Power One.
NMS Power One. Was that power with a letter one?
Power and number one.
Yes. One. So okay. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you'll tell us at the end where we can reach you. But okay. So you do media for other people.
So I've been doing media for other people. Like I said, this year though, I'm focusing more on the interaction through video and such. Okay. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. And because we were talking about, how do I engage with my type of client and everything? Well, it's basically, back in the day, I would sit down with them and I would talk with them and I would meet with them, or I would have phone conversations with them. And what I was doing at the time period was listening, intensely listening to them. If we were face to face, whether it be on Zoom or physically, I would watch the way they speak, because you can't mimic a person unless you actually observe that person, and you have to pay attention. How do they say something? How do they say a sentence? How would they express how they feel about something? What's their eye movement? Things like that. You have to me at least, you have to really get to know that person for what I have to do. I can't be somebody without knowing who that somebody is. So I actually studied my subjects. And then, I call them subjects, but then I call them clients to their face. but I actually studied them. Their
You got them under that microscope there, huh? You're really checking them out. That's great.
And it's funny because I would actually watch what they would do on their personal social media to see how they would engage and interact with other people, so that I can then mimic that.
Okay,
And
so is that something that you're doing now with people, or you're not? You kind of cut that out for now.
I'm trying to let go of that for now, because it's harder to do it when it's harder to do it in this climate.
Which brings us to our main point, which we haven't even gotten to, and we've got so much to say, and I love everything that you're saying, but I really want to hear, because we're about stress here. This is what we're talking about. So I really want to hear your take on how you personally handled your stress, because you told me about these different levels, and I'm still waiting to hear about that, because this is what, as business people, we need. We need to support each other, and how and I really want to hear some of the ways that you do this, because that may be very helpful for other people that are listening. So please share with us how you de-stress.
So I de-stress by owning the stress.
So yes.
Yeah. A lot of people say, oh, how do I get rid of this? Well, you know what? We're business people, and at the end of the day, we're always going to be stressed out about something. We're always going to, and stress that comes from worry, comes from fear, those type of things. Am I doing this right? Oh, I haven't made enough money yet. Oh, like all these different variables come into place with the stress. So it's about identifying why you're feeling the stress. And that's why I say there's different levels. The stress of an example would be, you give yourself your goals, right? And you're at that point, once you start giving yourself a specific goal and a deadline to that goal, that's when the stress begins. Because now all of a sudden you
got to get it done.
It's done. This has to get done right now, and then you have to own that, though. You have to say, what do I do? All right. If I give myself a goal-driven situation, I end up writing down, all right, what's happening, and that's how I de-stress myself. What's going on? All right. So this is the situation.
Write down. You actually write it down on a pencil and paper.
Okay. I literally have spiral notebooks. If I were to pass away, you'd be like, holy crap, look at all these spiral notebooks she has. I write everything down. And so I write down, and a lot of people would read it and be like, what is all this gibberish? But I write down, what's my problem? What's causing the stress? Because you have to identify what is causing you the stress. All right, so how are we going to do this? Sometimes the type of stress that I'm having is just maybe a tapping situation. I'm late to something. I'm late to a meeting. I'm late to that. I got to calm down, because you don't want to go into any kind of meeting.
Yeah, and being a little jittery. Right.
Yeah, because then you sound a little crazy, and then, you want people to take you seriously. So I'll do like the tapping and, to calm myself down. And that's, to me, that's like minor stress. The big stress, like I say, write it down, figure out, give yourself, all right, what's good, what's bad about this situation? How can I change this situation? Take a different perspective, and you can decompress your stress that way. You can.
Wait. Okay. You just said something really important. You said to change your attitude, shift your attitude. What did you just say? You just said change your perspective, right? Okay. Talk about that a little bit more.
So how do I change my perspective? I try to take myself out of the equation. Like, it's a different way of looking at things when you change your perspective. If you give me an example, I can give you an example. So,
well, you're angry. Let's say you're angry. Somebody did something that annoyed you. What happens next?
Oh, when I get angry, I literally breathe. I breathe.
Breathe. Love it. Yes. Okay. You're right up my alley.
Move myself. In fact, I once had a client that was so anxious, and the anxiety was overtaking her, and she became extremely stressful, like she was yelling. And I literally sent her an email and I said, you need to breathe. You need to take a step back,
Right.
and you need to breathe. And you
Mhm.
need to reevaluate your situation and look at it from a different perspective. And with anger, if you're angry about a situation in your business, you need to take a step back, breathe, and exhale. Do it a couple of times if you have to, and then say, all right, what is making me so angry, and how can I fix this?
Mhm. And then you'll
Because
do the writing maybe, or
I'll just look at the situation, or maybe I need to pick the phone up. Believe it or not, picking the phone up and talking to someone can be an extreme stress relief, because you're
absolutely.
putting it out there. Stress
Someone
is,
you trust, right? Someone you can trust that you know
you can
it goes
trust.
nowhere else, and you're just going to, kind of just spit it all out and put it on the table, right?
Absolutely, everybody needs a consigliere, you know.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Person that we can just like let it out, put it out on the table, lay your cards down. This is what's going on, and then you can get rid of that type of stress. And it could be a spiritual person, it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be a pet. You know,
I used to talk to my cat all the time. Yes.
yeah. I mean, sometimes we need just that person that you could just talk to. I used to talk to my dog. I have cats, so I talk to my cats. They don't.
Right. Yeah.
My
You
cats
just
walk away.
your cats
But
walk away.
they love me.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, but you have to be able to have that person that your go-to, whoever
Mhm.
that is.
Okay, so that's another one on the list then. Find a consigliere. There, find
Yeah,
someone you can share. Right, right.
I like too many Godfather movies.
Oh, it's a great movie. So yeah, so okay. Any so what else do you when you're is there another level, because you really talked about your kind of minor level, like just quickly change your mind kind of thing, or take a breath, or when you're very, very stressed. How about that midpoint, like a midpoint in a level where it's not gonna it's not gonna drive you crazy, you can go on with things, but what might you personally do when you are no, you're aware, you suddenly say, gee, this is getting me a little antsy. What other kind of things might you do just to relieve that?
So, if something's just getting me uncomfortable and antsy, like you said, I try to find out why it's making me that way. Why is this making me uncomfortable?
Mhm.
Maybe I need to change the situation around,
Mm,
and
mhm,
because sometimes you don't have to have that stress. It's
mhm.
there, but it doesn't need to be there, because you don't need to deal with whatever that situation is. You can
Right.
actually move yourself from the situation, which of course would relieve the stress.
Mhm.
You don't have to be a hero to everything and everyone. You know,
I love what you're saying. I love that, because what you're saying is so valuable that we often, I know for many years, I would think, if someone asked me a question, I had to answer it.
mhm.
And you don't really necessarily always have to answer everybody's questions, or at least you can say, I'll give it some thought, or I'll get back to you, or something like that, which I finally learned how to do. you know or but because that can catch you off guard, and you may say things that you didn't really have a chance to think about. So that's definitely a good idea, right? And the other thing is that you want to be able to come from a place of love. So, whenever you're interacting with people, and that doesn't, if you're, like you said, if you're stressed, you're not going to feel that right away. You're not necessarily going to feel loving toward, whatever's going on in the moment. So I love what you're saying about realizing you need to shift your focus, and taking the breath. I mean, these are all things I talk about too. So we're all on the same page here for sure. And I just love how you are um, very practical, because you know, people think spirituality is all this woo-woo stuff. It is not. I mean, it's absolutely just daily things that are so essential to do, right? I mean, it's just practical. To me, spirituality should be practical, right? Being loving is practical, right? It's good for business, right?
Yeah, it's practical. It to me, spirituality is also personal. You know, it's like it comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
Spirituality. It's not something that you can obtain, you know, outside. You have to have it. It has to start within, and how you utilize it. You know, there's good and evil everywhere. That's balance.
Yeah.
You know, you can't appreciate good without the bad. That's just the way it is. And you know, I I see life as that way too. You know, life is a balance. With life comes death, and that's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's about accepting and appreciating and counting the blessings that you get and have, the lessons that you've learned, and hoping that you've taken those lessons and it helps you evolve into a better person. So,
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's great stuff. Well, we've hit the just about the half hour mark, and I know everybody's busy. I think you've made some fantastic suggestions here to help people deal with their stress. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And please just tell everybody uh, how they can contact you, what what you can, how what way you can help them if you want, so that they can follow up.
all right. Well, I am looking myself for people to come on to my show, which is called Ty and Tina's Hotspot, and that airs Wednesday nights at 8 on Coast to Coast Network, and that'll be on YouTube and Facebook channels. And I'm looking for guests, and if you're interested in being a guest, you can go to Ty and Gina's Hotspot at gmail.com.
All right, that's Gina. How do you spell the Gina? Ty A N what? Ty ANTAIAND
TAIANDGINA
GINA
hotspot.
hotspot.
Yep.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Okay. All
And
right.
you'll be seeing me, you know, I'll be posting more into the world and everything, so that people can see that. And,
What are the criteria for people being on? What kind of people are you looking for?
I'm looking for interesting and unique people. You don't have to be a business, you don't have to be a nonprofit, but you have to bring something unique, you know, and everybody has a uniqueness, whether it's a talent or maybe you do something and you want people to know about it, or maybe you know of something that you want to share. You know, I want that interesting, you know, I don't know, X factor type person.
Okay.
You know, only because of the fact that I feel that we are all amazing. Every single one of us is uniquely designed, and we all have something to offer this world. So I want to share what you have to offer.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. That's great. All right. So you all heard. Please go to Ty and Gina Hotspot at gmail.com if you want to participate in their podcast and share something of yourself that's unique to you and something that will be, I guess, helpful or interesting to other people. Sounds wonderful. I wish you much success with this new venture. And I want to again thank you so much for participating, being with me and with all of us who listening today. It couldn't have been a better kickoff. Everything went smoothly. I can't believe it. It's just been great. So thank you. Good positive energy, right, for the new year. And again, for everyone, let us envision health and happiness and well-being for this new year. It may take a little while, it may not be instant, but as I always say, you know, everything begins with a thought, and it's so important for us to keep our thoughts in a positive place, in a place of upward movement. I mean, there's a lot of ways to express that, but in a way that's expansive and life-giving and supporting. So when you catch your thoughts and they're negative or they're sad or whatever, as Ty told us today, you want to catch those thoughts and shift them around so that you can find the the inclusiveness, the ways that we can join in and share this life together. So thanks again, Ty. Many blessings to you, your family, and to your project this year. And please come back next week, and we'll hopefully have, I don't know what we'll have yet. I haven't figured it out, but we'll find out, and I'll let you know. So many blessings, everybody, and have a glorious week in this new year. So until next time, remember, everything begins with a thought. So keep those thoughts light. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.